Things are gonna get better now, but you're still a drunken slob. Things are gonna get better now.
Well, let's hope it just got a little better for you. Kind of a little surprise for you on a Friday. An extra episode of Headbangers and Hooligans. Still have the 11th album to revisit. Number 11 in my top 50 of all time. And I know I say the same thing every week. Kind of hard to believe we're already to October, and then after today, the top 10 albums of all time, Scummalicious style. And of course I gave a little hint this morning. I posted a little song from the album that I think is the 11th best album ever recorded. You know, I always like to go over the top a little bit. Yeah, make it a little more entertaining. But I had to do a show about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I had planned on doing this show yesterday, but unfortunately the power went out and it was out for about 5 hours, which really sucked. And I realized yesterday that I literally have no life without electricity. Pretty sad to say, but I'm just being honest. To not be able to get on my computer and watch YouTube for 13 hours, I was having withdrawals. And it was only 5 hours, and I'm bitching about 5 hours, and there's people that lost their homes and their entire shit with the hurricanes. You know, it kind of made me feel pretty pathetic, actually. But the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they announced their bands and artists for 2018. You know, who the possibilities are to be voted in. And I'm going to start this whole little deal with a surprising thing. I'll call it a thing. I actually agree with Eddie Trunk when it comes to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Kind of scary, right? And after Eddie Trunk always tells you about what he knows and all the interviews that he gets because he's Eddie Trunk, he is right about one thing. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a fucking joke. Now, for years, he bitched and yelled about Kiss not being in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I think they got voted in 2014. But for the longest time, he was always saying, how can you not have Kiss in there? And you know this. Anybody that's listened to me for a while, I'm just not a Kiss fan. I remember being 13 and 14 and thinking, I just love Kiss. Lick It Up and Asylum. Oh, wow. Just thinking about those albums and some of the songs on them. Paul Stanley and Gene Simmons are two of the biggest fucking douchebags in the world. And Eddie always likes to pat himself on the back with how many interviews he's done with the two of them, and they like coming to me. They feel confident that I will deliver a good interview. And, it's just kind of like, shut up, okay? You love him so much, Eddie Trunk. Why don't you guys go get a motel room together? Just their music, it was just fucking cheesy. I'm sorry, that's just how I feel. But I do give them credit and respect, like the whole marketing thing, with all the merchandise, with the figures and and their live performances, way ahead of of their time with all the effects. And I give them credit for that part. It's just the music I don't care for. But wow, I've never been like this big Rock and Roll Hall of Fame fan, you know, because most of the bands and artists that they got in there, I wasn't a huge fan of, even the legendary bands, you know. I'm not saying they all suck, I'm just saying I didn't go crazy, you know, if someone said, hey, did you know that Journey's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Well, that's cool. I like some songs from Journey, you know. I wouldn't have lost my mind, though, if they didn't get in. So I came across the story yesterday when I was online, and it listed all the nominees. And the first thing I'm going to start with, Iron Maiden is not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they're not one of the nominees for 2018 either. But Judas Priest is. And I've talked about this before. I respect the hell out of Judas Priest, except for their drummer, because he's a fucking child molester. Go read that story. Ugh, it's just sickening. And that whole thing where they went to court over the kid that committed suicide, and which was a ridiculous lawsuit, trying to blame Judas Priest for this poor teenager from, you know, committing suicide. Obviously, the kid had a lot of shit going on. But to take Judas Priest to court over that was just ridiculous. You can read that story too. You nominate Judas Priest and Iron Maiden. They're not in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and they're not nominated. Iron Maiden is 10 times better than Judas Priest. I'm sorry. And that's the truth. Look at each band's discography, and I know this. I know that when it comes to power metal, especially in the late 70s, early 80s, Judas Priest, Iron Maiden, they're linked, you know, as they should be. You know, they're both from Great Britain. They both have opera-like vocalists. You know, the dual guitar attack, talented drummers. But Iron Maiden's discography just blows Judas Priest out of the water. It's not even close. Just the 80s, that decade alone. And I know I've went through this before. But Iron Maiden, Killers, Power Slave, Number the Beast, Peace of Mind, Somewhere in Time. I mean, you know, and British Steel, which is kind of considered the Judas Priest most iconic album. There's like one or two, well, I say one or two, there's 2 or 3 really good songs on there, and the rest is kind of okay. It really is, and I'm not trying to rip on Judas Priest. They have some legendary songs, they do, and they influenced a lot of bands. But I'm sorry, they're not even close as far as the music that both bands recorded. There's no comparison. Just think of the songs: Number the Beast, Run to the Hills. God, there's so many I can't. Purgatory, 2 Minutes to Midnight, Aces High. It's just, it's insane to me how Iron Maiden, it does feel like they're being dismissed. And now I kind of understand what Eddie Trunk, why he was so passionate about it. Huge fan of Kiss, and in his mind he's like, how can you have all these other acts in there, and isn't Madonna in there? I think, if I could be wrong, I don't know for sure, but Kiss isn't. And you know what? That's the way I feel about Iron Maiden. And so here's the list of the artists that are being nominated here. Radiohead. I'll get to that in a minute. Nina Simone, she's a jazz icon. Of course, Judas Priest. Kate Bush. Depeche Mode. The Zombies. The Cars. You know what? The Cars should be in there. MC5. Jay Giles Band. Eurythmics. The Meters. The Moody Blues. Rage Against the Machine. Sister Rosetta Tharpe. I had no idea who that is. Link Ray, LL Cool J, Rufus featuring Chaka Khan, and Dire Straits. And these are 4 of the artists that are already in there. The Velvet Underground, Aerosmith, Lou Reed, and Green Day. So, let me start with Radiohead. Fuck Radiohead. I mean, I don't care. One of the most overrated bands ever. I haven't done this in a long time, but I am going to pick a few bands apart here. I know of one song. I'm a creep. I'm a winner. And I've tried. I've listened to 2 or 3 of these albums. I don't even remember the titles that people mentioned to me. Hey, you gotta check this out. It's really good. Radiohead. And I listened to it and I'm like, no, it still fucking sucks to me. I'm sorry. I don't understand it. And the whole creep thing, the reason it got popular is because of the alternative shit that was booming there for 4 or 5 years, and they jumped right in. That's the only song that's worth a shit. And I don't even like that song. I'm sorry, I don't. Radiohead, if you're gonna nominate Radiohead, then Iron Maiden sure as hell should have been fucking nominated. That's a joke. Alright? Dire Straits. Now, listen. When I mentioned that talented band, Mark Knopfler, hell of a guitarist. I don't have a problem with them being nominated. But Depeche Mode, you're gonna nominate Depeche Mode and not mention Iron Maiden? Depeche Mode. Oh, I get so tired of their fans too. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to attack. Well, I guess I am a little bit. Oh, they're so dark and depressed, and he shot up heroin. So what the fuck is so great about that? And it's just fucking keyboards. I just don't understand it. You know, the Moody Blues, even I can understand them a little bit. The Cars definitely should be in there. I absolutely talk about an underrated band. That's a band that definitely deserves to be in there, in my opinion. But the 4 that are already in there that I mentioned, I just chose these 4. There was a shitload more. I just picked these 4. The Velvet Underground, another one of those bands, I'm sorry, totally fucking overrated. They had that one song, dun, 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 dun. I don't even know the name of that song. That's the only song I know. Lou Reed was the singer. It just doesn't make any sense to me that you would have a guy that cannot sing, and there's this fascination with him. Hey girl, take a walk on the wild side, and the color girls go do 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 do. You know, and it's like, why? What's the fascination? That Lulu album with Metallica, still one of the worst fucking albums ever recorded, and there's not too many people that would disagree with me, you know. And the Wild Side song, Lou Reed, that was solo, I believe. He wasn't even in the Velvet Underground, but Lou Reed is in there too. Really? Some of these older artists that some people look as iconic, I don't. And I'm sorry, the Velvet Underground and Lou Reed, those are two of them. Aerosmith is in there. Yes, I am kind of attacking Aerosmith because of this. You have Aerosmith in there, then you sure as hell should have Iron Maiden in there. Even Green Day's in there. Come on, man. It's, you know, and I know it's crazy, because I was thinking about it this morning. Wow, I agree with Eddie Trunk on something. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is a fucking joke. And honestly, like I said before, why am I getting all mad when I don't even fucking care anyway? You know? But I can see now why he's so passionate about it. Especially when you read the nominees, you know, LL Cool J's being nominated, but fucking Iron Maiden ain't. But really though, the final argument is, if you're gonna nominate Judas Priest, Iron Maiden should sure as hell be nominated too. There you go. Just kind of had to get that off my chest. Got a lot of work to do today, a lot of entertaining, so I'm gonna get after it. I actually do feel better. You know what? Now my videos will be better because I got all this out of my system. Alright, take it easy, and it's easy. Take it twice. Talk to you in a little bit.